everybody. It's Allie. And welcome to our Y&R Chat for Sunday, March 19th, 2023. I, for one, was very impressed with how honest Nate was with Victoria this week, followed by how much he lied to Elena this week. The truth and the lies and the lies and the truth. And if I tell one lie, but I also tell two separate truths, then maybe the truth will balance out the lie. And yeah, I did a bad thing, but if I follow it up with the right thing, then maybe it'll all wash away. Oh, I think it's easy to put all of my focus right now on Nate's corner of the whole triangle. But I also have to say, Victoria knows that he's in a committed relationship. He told her more than once that he wants to back it off. I think it was last week or the week before. He said, okay, this is good, but I like it, but I need to back off. And then she, the temptress, the she-devil, tells him, I'm going to get a room upstairs and I would really love it if you would come join me. The temptress! This really is reminding me of the old Victoria, the Heather Tom Victoria, the one that liked sex, the one that posed nude for the centerfold. I think this is just, it's becoming almost a more finely tuned version of who she is now. Victoria Newman knows exactly what she wants, and she is unapologetic about it, whether it's in business or her personal life. She is a hunter, and right now Nate is her poor, helpless prey. Really, if you think about it, Nate's her victim. Oh. No, Nate's culpable too, absolutely. But I think it's interesting to focus in on Victoria here. Nate's kind of the obvious wrongdoer. We see how he's dogged Elena all this week, but Victoria's wrongdoing is a little bit more subtle. She told Nate that, hey, if he takes her up on this little, room deal, whether or not he takes her up on the room deal, there will be absolutely no repercussions. Whatever you choose does not affect your job either way. But Nate saw that that is a trap. I mean, Victoria is completely secure in her job. There's absolutely no chance, or limited chance, I'm sure from her perspective, that she will ever lose her job. But it's a big kettle of risky awkwardness for Nate either way. If he says yes to Victoria's proposal, then he, for one thing, has to deal with the personal shame of cheating on his girlfriend. And he's going to have to deal with it all day, every day, at work, and when he goes home to his girlfriend. But if he says no to Victoria, if he rejects her, then what repercussions and risky awkwardness does that have, too? No woman, no matter how secure she is, would not feel rejected by a rejection. So the question is, if Nate continues to reject Victoria, will she start to, whether subtly or obviously, retaliate against him? I think this is an interesting poll question for us to have this week. Do you think that what's going on right now between Nate and Victoria is considered sexual harassment? Go to yrchat.com. Let me know if you think right now, as it stands, is this sexual harassment? Do you think it's not sexual harassment? Do you think it's leading to sexual harassment? That's where the interesting conversation is. Because right now, gosh, I don't know know that it qualifies. She's done a very good job of laying it out, saying there's no, you choose this is just personal. I can put this into a little box in my mind and not let it affect your job. But it wouldn't take very many steps before we were right there. And now she's just withholding Nate from being involved at all of the meetings, or just sort of subtly pushing him out the door, or withholding her the power that she has. When he's good with her, when he does what she wants, she gives him the power. But if he rejects her, she stops doing that. It's there's shades in here that I think are interesting to explore. And even though, I'm all in for the affair. I like the Nate and Victoria hotness that's going on, but the work stuff just really makes me uncomfortable. When she texted him the room number, which, by the way, I thought was why would you send that to his phone? Sending him a room number on his phone? He better delete that text, and who knows if he will. But when she texted him the room number, I just could feel the tension for both of them. I actually felt almost mortified for both of them, because I was half wanting it to happen because it's hot. But I was also half not wanting it to happen because it's wrong. And I know it's wrong. I actually realized that I was physically holding my breath when Nate finally made it past Detective Nick, the Detective Nick roadblock, and actually was standing outside of Victoria's hotel room door. Turns out he went all the way up there to reject her in person, which in some ways takes nerve. He couldn't walk out of the hotel completely and just leave her hanging there. Responding to the text just wouldn't seem totally appropriate. So he went upstairs, he knocked on the door. I really thought he was going to go through with it, but instead he laid out his feelings in a pretty bold way. He said, I want you to know that my answer is no, but I am making a logical decision here. This is not about whether or not I want to. I'm not trying to deny that something is going on. That would hurt Victoria. Or denying that something was going on there would be dishonest. And physical attraction, you can't, that's in and of itself not something you can exactly prevent. It's the actions that you follow through with. And so he's being honest by saying, yes, I feel this, I do, but I'm not going to follow through on it. It's not about whether or not I want to follow through on it. So, you're very attractive, Victoria. He definitely said you look good, and you look good. I would love to, but I'm not going to. I liked his logic of saying there's only two things that I have in my life right now that are going good for me. That is my relationship with Elena, which he fought hard to get back. And he also has this job, which he also fought hard to get. And he does not want to let a temptation, which probably would end up being temporary, a temporary temptations, a temporary fling. He doesn't want to let something temporary and, it's all real good until you burst the bubble, but he's not going to let that destroy what he's worked so hard to not just build for himself, but to rebuild for himself. He lost both his job and his relationship with Elena when the whole Chancellor Winters thing went down. He does not want to make that mistake again. I liked that he laid that out and seemed very honest. And Victoria seemed to take it as maybe less of a rejection and more of a challenge. Because she said, okay. But then as soon as he left, she was dreaming of him. She still wants him. I wonder if Victoria imagines that she just hasn't worn him down enough yet. She has shown us that she's going to get what she wants. And maybe in her mind, the cracks between he and Elena just aren't big enough. And if Elena goes away, then she can just have her cake and eat it too. And at the end of the day, if Victoria Newman is satisfied, then what's it matter if anyone else gets hurt? Ugh. But if Victoria is not the one who wants to pry the crack open between Nate and Elena, maybe Audra might be. I think this is getting pretty real. We've got 3 women fighting over Nate, which honestly is exactly how it should be. It makes perfect sense to me. 3 women now fighting over Nate. Elena, Victoria, Audra, and me make it 4. And probably 100 other women and men working at Newman Media and Newman Enterprises, probably drooling the second that man walks through the door in the morning. It's interesting intellectually, but I also really just appreciate the fact that my man Nate is getting some attention this year. Some of the attention's good, some of the attention's bad, but that's what I like. Either way, 2023 is turning out to be a good year so far for me. I don't know exactly how Audra thinks she's gonna be the dark horse that comes up and gets Nate in all of this, because she seems almost more to be on his annoyance radar at this point. Audra admitted to Tucker this week that she wants Nate too. She wants in on this action. But I don't know. I see Audra as just a troublemaker. I think she follows the drama. She is a troublemaker of the purest and truest soap opera variety. She has been poking and prodding at Nate and Victoria's office fling for weeks now, and she told Tucker this week that she doesn't even care about her job. She doesn't care if she loses her job over it. Which, I mean, she should be, because if she continues to sort of needlessly poke and prod them about it, then Victoria and or Nate could just find some BS reason to fire her. Maybe Audra's the one that'll end up suing for sexual harassment or a hostile work environment or a sexually charged work environment or something. I don't know. Well, off on the sidelines, Elena, she's aware but unaware of it all. She senses it all. She has a feeling about it all, but no one's really confirming anything. I mean, Elena told Nate this week that Audra had implied that something was going on between he and Victoria, and Elena confronted him twice about this just this past week, and Nate lied his way out of it both times. It's tough because it seems like she wants to believe him and she's wanting to give him the benefit of the doubt, but she still doubts it in the back of her mind. But I think he snowed her. I think he did successfully snow her, because there was a point in the week where Elena was actually apologizing to him for even asking the question, was there something going on between you and Victoria? And he does a very good job, a very skillful job of lying. We saw how well he lied to Nick. He's lying so well right now. And I'm sure it's all justified in his mind as just trying to correct a mistake. Okay, I made a mistake. Now I'm going to just try to do some white lying to correct it and reset everything. And at one point, this was rich. At one point, he even made sure to let Elena hear him turning down an offer on the phone to meet with Victoria. He said, no, Victoria, I've got plans with Elena tonight. And he's like looking back at Elena like, see, nothing's going on here. And he looked real proud of himself during it all too. Like, not just that he had assuaged Elena's doubts, but he almost looked like he was happy that maybe he corrected his own karma or something. I could almost see him patting himself on the back internally. Well done, old boy. Well, a good job. That's all taken care of. Moving on now. Business as usual now. Oh, Elena's asleep? Well, let me sneak out and meet with Victoria to talk about all of the work we're doing together. Sally is dreaming of Adam and sleeping with Nick. That says it all. I mean, I really don't know what more I can add to the conversation here. Sally is dreaming of Adam and sleeping with Nick. Enough said. I got nothing. I did like Summer's cameo in Sally's dream. Summer was brushing Sally's hair like a good bestie would do. Yeah, one conversation with Summer apparently really did a number on Sally. Of course, she's also got all of these pregnancy hormones raging, and wouldn't it be natural for her to be thinking about the life she could possibly have with her baby's father? I don't know. I'm liking these dream sequences all over the place, though. I just wish the storyline would move along. I don't have anything else to say. Sorry. Another story that I'm kind of wishing would move along is the bid to buy McCall Unlimited. I wish somebody would just buy it already. Devon had just finished having a hot sex sesh with Abby. And Devon came on downstairs for some post-sex refreshments. And Victor was knocking at the door. Absolutely no one wants to have a conversation with Victor Newman immediately following a hot sex sesh with his daughter. Talk about a cold shower. Abby came downstairs in the middle of Devon and Victor's conversation, wearing nothing but one of Devon's dress shirts and legs for days. I mean, you gotta love that look. The man's button-up dress shirt and nothing else but legs. She looked beautiful. She looked like she was turning red. Oh, how embarrassing. Oh. Seemed like Victor just kind of shrugged it off. I think he cares more about the business at hand than the business in the bedroom, especially these days. Oh. Well, I mean, it's an interesting development that Victor wants Devon to not buy McCall so that, of course, Adam can run it over Tucker's dead body. I really did like the scenes between Adam and Tucker. I thought Adam and Tucker were friends, but they were definitely taking jabs at each other like they were enemies. I guess there's no friends in business, no friendship in business. I also thought it was pretty funny that Nick told Adam that he thinks Adam and Victoria need hobbies. You guys are too worried about trying to get McCall. You're going to end up tearing each other apart. Y'all just need to get some hobbies. What would that be? What would Adam and or Victoria's side hobby be if they weren't fighting over McCall Unlimited right now? What do you think? Victoria could take up flower arranging. Maybe Adam could maybe he could get into hacky sack. Just some ideas. Tossing that out there. But yeah, it is an interesting development that, Tucker wants McCall to go to Devon. Devon wants to keep McCall as a safety net in case things don't work out with his Chancellor Winters lawsuit. But Devon told Victor this week that the only way he's not going to buy McCall Unlimited is if Jill and Lily just decide to give him Hamilton Winters back. If he has Hamilton Winters back, then he doesn't need McCall Unlimited. So next week it looks like Victor is going to be trying to work out a deal with Jill to make that happen. Maybe, maybe not. But next week is the week. There's going to be a lot of stuff going on next week that's probably more interesting than Jill and Victor working out a deal over McCall Industries. One of the top things in my mind, too, is Mamie. I loved seeing in the previews that Mamie was back, and she was looking very beautiful, and she had this silvery, shiny hair. Do you remember how Mamie's hairstyle was always up curled all the way around? It was more of a period hairstyle, so it was nice to see her looking more modern, and I'm looking to seeing more of her and hearing what she has to say to Jack, what she has to say to Lily and Devon. I mean, next week is the week, you guys. In the previews, Tracy and Nikki are meeting up, exclaiming that tonight is the night. Phyllis's desperation is palatable. I can taste how desperate she is. She has gone into overdrive trying to make everyone believe that she's not up to anything. She's learned her lessons. She's wishing Jack and Diane the very best. Yeah, right. I loved that Lauren was there to witness that whole ridiculousness. Lauren is basically looking at Phyllis the same way that the audience is looking at Phyllis, like, Phyllis, what are you doing right now? Nobody is buying this act. Phyllis told Jeremy that Diane and Jack were sitting cozy up at the Abbott cabin, but she also tells him maybe what we need to do is not go there. Let's not start something on their turf. That would be too easy. Let's call them back to Genoa City. Call them back to our turf. And then, we'll just basically do the same thing that they did to us. Subterfuge. So Phyllis throws up this smokescreen telling Kyle and Summer that Jeremy has jetted off to Paris looking for Diane and Jack. Phyllis, of course, knows that Kyle would pass along this information to Jack and Diane, and then the happy couple would return home feeling free from the big bad wolf and not having any idea what's coming for them. Phyllis seemed pretty proud of herself for thinking of that and for pulling it off, too. Phyllis is very cocky when she's around Jeremy. She seems to always want to be insisting that she's so good at all of this. I mean, Phyllis is the best at everything. He is so lucky to have her. But then it's a couple of breaths later, and she's on the phone with him, seeming very scared. I think she realizes that she's playing with fire and that there's a risk that all of this could explode in her face. She's been very adamant with Jeremy, telling him, warning him, my family cannot be affected by any of this. You listen to me. I'm the best partner you're ever going to have, but my family had better not be affected by any of this, which of course means they will. Oh, Summer's going to be so mad. It's the Summer blow up that's going to end up happening, because this is all a bridge that's already been crossed. Summer's trust in her mother is already completely gone. I mean, Summer told Kyle that she didn't even fully believe Phyllis's story, that she's the one that told Jeremy that Jack and Diane were in Paris. I mean, Summer doesn't believe any of this. She knows that her mother is up to something, and she worries that it's Diane focused, and she's right. Jeremy told Phyllis that she needs to find a way to get back into some good graces so that she can physically get back into the Abbott house and find a few things of Diane's to steal. Something small, something personal, maybe like an engagement ring that Diane took off because they hadn't announced the news to everyone yet. That makes no sense to me. No need to take that engagement ring off, but it sure is going to be a blazing piece of evidence against her when Phyllis and Jeremy set her up, or try to. I mean, yeah, it just isn't. Jack and Diane have been so bold and so defiant about their relationship. And, I mean, they told Kyle and Summer. I don't even know who they would need to feel that they have to keep their engagement a secret from, but okay, Diane took off her engagement ring. There's some drama. Upcoming drama. Well, Kyle and Summer didn't exactly have a very good reaction to finding out that Jack and Diane were engaged. Kyle is probably rightfully worried that Diane is going to end up hurting Jack, or that she's going to end up disappointing Jack. Oh, more foreshadowing. Or, you know, there's also just the possibility that the volatility of Jack and Diane's relationship could cause Kyle to lose his mom again. And I empathized with him this week. But I think if Kyle's, you know, really, if the trust is there, then he should know that his relationship with his mother is independent of Jack and Diane's romance. And if Diane loves her son the way that she says she does, she will always maintain a closeness with him, no matter what happens between she and Jack. But Kyle's skeptical. Summer is skeptical, and, you know, Summer even went so far as to say, well, this quickie engagement is a little bit suspicious. Could this be what Diane was planning all along? Which, you know, again, sets up a scenario where people don't believe that, you know, that Diane has changed, or that whatever's going to go down at the masquerade ball really, really points to Diane. And whatever goes down, I mean, I'm sure that Kyle will find a way to believe his mother. Summer will find a way to not believe Diane. Yeah, Kyle definitely doesn't like hearing anything anti-Diane, even though he has his own doubts. But I think Summer's going to be right there whatever goes down. I think Summer's going to be telling Kyle that he needs to start believing that maybe everything everybody has said about Diane all along is true. But for as, you know, much has gone bad between Summer and Phyllis, Summer is certainly starting to sound a lot like her. Laughter means that you're moving on. I mean, I think that's pretty true, right? It was Lily who said that to Daniel about him being able to have a little chuckle here and there about everything that, or despite everything that went on between him and Heather and their relationship ending. So laughter means that you're moving on. I liked that quote. So here's your congratulations, Henry, Daisy, Susan, Ron, Jamie, Tina, Sue W, and good old Marky. Let's see. How about a new quote for this week? I like this. I love some good old-fashioned romance from time to time. I love some good old-fashioned romance from time to time. Who said it? If you think you know, go to yrchat.com. There you can leave your guess. And if you get it right, then I will give you your congrats on next week's Y&R Chats. Well, let's dig into some comments on our big poll topic of the week relating to Nate and Victoria. Starting with Diana, who says, I was glad to see that Nate turned down Victoria. That was definitely a twist I didn't see coming, as Nate had told Nick that he was going to spend the night at the hotel. As much as I love seeing Nate and Victoria fooling around, I felt the two of them jumping into bed together would have been too soon. I think Nate and Victoria have a lot of chemistry together, but right now I'm enjoying the gradual build-up of Nate and Victoria's growing attraction for one another without any sex. I enjoy the stolen moments of intimacy while at the same time feeling bad for Elena. I'm not ready for Nate and Victoria's fling to end just yet. I don't really know where the storyline is headed, which makes it that much more intriguing. You know, I completely agree with you, Diana. And it was interesting. Y&R did twist that on us because the way Nate got stopped by Nick and he was coming up with the lie about, oh, I had a problem with Elena, I'm just standing there. All signs pointed to that he was just going to walk right up to the hotel room and have an affair. I was totally ready to be mad at him because he had just come from this really long reassurance speech to Elena, and then the second she went to bed, he went out to the hotel, and if he would have accepted the affair proposal, I mean, it really would have been too much. It's too diabolical. It's too premeditated on his part. I think you're right that the attractiveness of the story is just in the slow burn, yeah, I feel attractive, but I shouldn't. You know, I mean, that's where the heat is. But like you, I felt a sense of relief that the affair didn't happen. Naomi says, I say Nate isn't as slick at covering his feelings as he thinks. Elena is nobody's fool. Yeah, she's right. Elena's right. The question is, will she follow her instincts instead of just listening to the words that are coming out of his mouth? I mean, she knows that he's capable of an affair. She had one with him. Victoria says, the cat will be out of the bag soon. Too many people are catching on to Victoria and Nate's longing looks. Audra, Elena, and even Nick have figured it out. Nate's putting himself in a precarious position. It's too bad Nate didn't hear Nick call Victoria heartless. Once the romance is over, Victoria will find a way to push Nate out the door. Oh, Victoria, that's interesting because I did note that from the conversation between Nick and Victoria that, I don't know, she maybe said he was all heart and he said that she was heartless, and I thought, well, gee, she almost took it as a compliment, and I thought that was weird. It rattled around in my brain, but I didn't connect that until just now when you said it, that Victoria almost seemed to relish the idea that she was heartless, and maybe that is a bit of a cue or a clue about something future that may happen, such as Gary, who says, so I was just spinning my wheels before, but now I definitely think sexual harassment is where Y&R is going with Nate and Victoria. This would be a fascinating story and one more reason to invest in putting that courtroom set back up. Victoria, the world's most powerful businesswoman, her reputation tarnished with the nasty allegations, which would need to be proven with a loss for her in court. Amelia is a fantastic actress of underplay and could knock this out of the park with Nathan, the absolute perfect person to be sexually harassed. Given the nature of the actors and their characters, the story could be told in an almost elegant way. Very timely, too, with the switching of the sex roles, which would be the most interesting to present. Yeah, I'm convinced. I'm convinced that would be the most interesting trajectory for the storyline. I'm not convinced that that's where Y&R is going, but I think that we really could dig in here. As you say, Nate's the perfect person. There's many women. We're establishing that all the women want him, and Victoria, using her power, the allure of her power and position to try to get him, would be a really interesting story. It would possibly be maybe the only thing that could knock Victoria out of that CEO chair. And who knows, if the McCall thing doesn't work out, maybe. Nick has shown that he's not interested, telling both Adam and Victoria they need different hobbies this week. Maybe Adam would be the person to put into that CEO chair if Victoria is disgraced by something like this. Ooh. T. Nicole says, Victoria, careful on how you handle things with Nate. It would be juicy to see a Nate and Victoria affair as long as they're both in. I don't think it would be a good look if we saw Victoria try to seduce Nate if he's saying he's committed to Elena. Nate has participated in these cheating kisses, and there is no denying that. But if it looks like Victoria is pressuring Nate into having an affair, then I wonder if it could turn into the workplace sexual harassment territory. I keep wondering if the roles were reversed and it was a male CEO acting this way to a woman who reports to them with a boyfriend. Wouldn't it feel more icky? Oh, yeah. But I also do, if sexual harassment's where it's going, I like that it shows it as sticky, too, because it's not as simple as Victoria coming on to Nate and Nate not being into it. He's admitted, and he's admitted to her and to us, he is into it. And so then it becomes the culpability of well, now he said no. So shouldn't Victoria be respectful of that? He has said no. It's one thing when, as you say, Nate's participating in the cheating kisses, but then he came to his senses and he told her no, and if she doesn't take no for an answer, that's where the sexual harassment could really be coming into play. And again, I also like that y'all are making this wonderful connection between the gender roles being reversed here. I mean, we've seen this play out before with the male person in power imposing their power upon the female, and maybe this is a twisty version of that. And in fact, Diana says, I believe the last sexual harassment storyline was when Michael sexually harassed Christine at the firm when Christine first became a lawyer. Michael was a mentor to Christine until he tried to take advantage of her. This was one of the very best storylines on Y&R. It was very compelling and believable. Diana, I'm so glad you brought this up this week. Yes. I didn't experience that story firsthand, but I have seen some of the flashbacks and I'm familiar with it peripherally. So, yes, the way that Michael used his power to sexually harass Christine was very moving and very relevant of the time. I think it would be interesting if we were going to do a reverse gender role on that for 2023 in our 50th season of Y&R. Gosh. Well, new topic. Daisy says, I don't know why Victor doesn't give Adam Newman media back. Why doesn't he give Adam Newman media back? Adam didn't poison Ray. He was exonerated. Victor owns Newman, so he can take Adam's original company, make it independent again, and give it back to Adam. I'm sure Victor could find a way. That's a good point. Victor doesn't exactly need McCall. He doesn't need to go, McCall. Sounds like a chicken or something. McCall Unlimited. Victor does not need that company to give Adam an opportunity to build something. Adam could build something from scratch. He doesn't need to scratch at the ground at McCall Industries. He could certainly build something from scratch with Victor's backing and make it a non-Newman entity. Diana says, well, Abby came all the way downstairs in Devon's shirt before she realized her dad was there. That was not realistic, as Abby would have heard Devon talking to her dad when she came out of the bedroom or when she was coming down the stairs. If it happened this way, we would not have had the scene of Abby being embarrassed in front of her father, but it was definitely an awkward moment for Abby and Victor. Yeah, awkward moment, and I did enjoy it. Realistic, no, but it was a fun little moment. Daisy also says, Abby couldn't see her father when she walked down the stairs. He was sitting right there. But then I wonder, what was Victor thinking? Did he realize that Abby broke up her marriage to Chance, was upset, and left? Or was Victor okay with Abby being with Devon, but left to not embarrass them? I hope it's the latter. Plus, if Devon is with Abby, Victor might believe it would be easier to combine companies, be it Chancellor or Tucker's. Expanding Newman's is always on his mind. Yes, that's my sense of it too, Daisy. I think that he was probably more interested in his goal of achieving the McCall acquisition over who his daughter is sleeping with. Although I would not be surprised if we had a follow-up conversation between Victor and Abby next week or the week after, or maybe at the party they could have a little follow-up something. Maybe Victor could raise an eyebrow. Gary says, Abby may need a man, but you'd think she could rope in someone better than Devon Hamilton. Someone better than the richest guy in town? Well, who would you rather see Abby with, if not Devon? Seemed like when Daniel came on, there was a little bit of a winky wink there, like, well, they've been together in the past. Maybe that might be a triangle. Maybe Abby and Daniel and Lily, or who else? Who else do you have in mind for Abby? Well, Ron says, I enjoyed Sally's dream sequence where we got to see her true feelings. I just wanted it to last longer. Dang it, Nick, with your banging on the door and threatening to call the building superintendent to break down the door. Apparently, Sally is supposed to be at his beck and call. That escalated quickly. Yeah, I had the same thought. I mean, he was like, knock, knock, knock. Nobody answers. And he's like, I'll call the building, I'll call all the way to the president to get into this room. And I'm thinking, well, what if the poor girl was in the bathroom? Oh. Tina says, I really loved Sally smiling when she was dreaming of Adam. I couldn't help thinking, though, that we're seeing in a dream conversation something that really should have happened. And then, bam, Nicholas and all of that banging, literally banging on the door, banging Sally. I didn't like that Sally lied to Nick, saying that it was Summer that upset her instead of being honest that she's feeling a bit conflicted about Adam. I just have to say, Tina, this comment gets my comedy gold star of the week simply for the line, banging on the door, then banging Sally. That is what Nick does best. Bang. He is a banger. Oh, Naomi says, I think Nick is having growing suspicions that Adam may be with Sally behind that closed door, and he wanted to bust through it. After all, he didn't find out about their farewell tryst until after the fact. Well, now, Naomi, that's the darn truth right there. Nick was banging on the door because he was afraid Adam was in there. And when he found his way in, he decided to go ahead and bang on Sally to try to reinforce that he's the best banger she could possibly have. He just wanted to reinforce his banging skills. Oh, Michelle says, pregnancy Sally, skin tight leather pants. In your dreams. Don't tell me she's going to wake up in that. Who takes a nap in tight pants? Now, this needs to be said. Pregnancy is painful. Being squoze into some tight leather pants, that could be considered cruel and unusual punishment for a pregnant woman. Well, new topic. Oh, Sherrod says, hello, chatters. I would like to take a moment here to let you know that our Kate Fairbanks, my Tessa, has won the Mom's Choice Award for the children's picture book called Sleepy Little Goober that she wrote along with her mother and brother. How about that? Kate Fairbanks won a Mom's Choice Award for a book that she wrote. That's amazing. I actually looked it up. It's really cute. It has a little Yorkie. It's the story about a little Yorkie puppy. It's for preschoolers and beginning readers. It's a children's book. But you can look it up. It's called Sleepy Little Goober. Sleepy Little Goober, and it's on Amazon for $9.99 if you want to check that out. If you have any sleepy little goobers in your life, and congratulations, Kate. That's how wonderful she's been able to parlay her career into a multimedia kind of thing. I mean, she has her music career, she has her acting career, and now an author too. That's just wonderful. Well, let's talk about our poll question from last week. I asked you guys to predict if you think Jack and Diane will be married. 51% of you said no. This was a close vote, though. 51% say no, Jack and Diane will not be married. 49% say yes. I'm shocked, first of all, that it's that close, but that it tipped over to the nose. With basically the perfect comment, Michelle says, Patty Williams says no over Diane's dead body. Ah! Wouldn't that be the ultimate amazing 50th anniversary thing if Patty Williams came in and decided to shoot Jack? Or shoot Diane. Shoot Diane to prevent that wedding from happening. Oh, that was a good one, Michelle. Oh, Sherrod voted yes, that they will be married, but then Diane will die in Jack's arms. By the way, I think it'll be a double death. Jeremy Stark will die too. Oh, that is so soapy, Sherrod. If we get the wedding, and what would it be? Maybe just some kind of, I don't know, maybe Patty Williams comes in and shoots Diane right as Diane is shooting Jeremy Stark or something. I don't know exactly how the double death would go down, but yeah, that would be certainly a very, very soapy wedding if the bride dies at the altar. Henry voted yes that Jack and Diane will be married. I have nothing to base my vote on. I'm feeling optimistic about it. I would love for everything that Phyllis, Nikki, Jeremy, and Ashley had planned for Diane to just culminate in an epic failure, with the end result being a Jack and Diane wedding. And now I must throw out this nugget. Will there be a future poll asking, how long will Jack and Diane stay married? Well, I voted that Jack and Diane will be married. Again, it's just wishful thinking, and I want them to stay married forever. TB84 liked Daisy's prediction from last week, saying somehow Diane will save Jack and get some respect from the Abbott family, and not only, and then there will be a marriage, maybe a different one from the dream sequence, but that's just my prediction. I think Stark might die after or during the masquerade, but I think it's a very good plot, and the more the actor who is playing Stark is mentioned, will he leave the show? Yeah, I think so. I think he's probably doomed. I think Stark might be doomed. Someone's going to die for sure. I think he's a really good candidate, bringing him back to kill him. But then there is still also the dark horse of Diane dying too. I mean, I think that's totally possible. T. Nicole says, I agree that Jeremy and Phyllis will set Diane up to fake Jeremy's death and make it look like she killed Jeremy Stark. I do think, though, that Diane and Jeremy will have an actual confrontation, maybe at the anniversary ball, and Jeremy will actually die as Diane was acting in either self-defense or just a complete accident. But because Phyllis has already set up the evidence that Diane wanted Jeremy killed to frame him for his fake death, it'll look like not an accident or self-defense, but a planned murder. And Diane will get arrested on her wedding day to Jack. Yep, T. Nicole, that's exactly how I see it going down to. The idea is to frame Diane for it, but then something goes wrong. He actually does die, and because all of the evidence is there with Phyllis, it looks like Diane did it, and an arrest on her wedding day. That's a good, taking it one step further. And how about this? One step further from Sue W., who says, to continue, Phyllis's teeny-weeny bit of conscience will get the best of her, and she'll eventually come forward, kicking and screaming against herself the whole time, to reveal the initial plot that then exonerates Diane. Despite Phyllis's attempted good intent, and much to her I still hate Diane chagrin, Phyllis will be seen as the bad guy when Diane comes out smelling like a rose after all, and Red's vendetta continues. I mean, this is perfect. This is perfect. Something actually does go down. It was an accident. Jeremy actually does die. Phyllis, Diane, because all the evidence there gets fingers pointed at her for the killing, and then Phyllis develops the conscience. She's the only one that knows the truth, and then, yeah, comes forward with it. And I don't think it would be everybody saying, thank you, thank you. I think it would be more finger pointing, and the vendetta would continue. Well, Tina says, Phyllis is off the rails. The choo-choo has lost its caboose. This will not end well for her. There will be a murder at the gala, and Phyllis will be right in the forefront. I don't know if it's Jeremy or Diane. One of them will be off the credits, but I have a feeling that Phyllis will get burned. Yeah, Phyllis doesn't come out of this any way we slice it looking good. Ellen says, Phyllis's story about Jeremy being off to Paris makes no sense. Isn't Jeremy out on parole? How is he going to leave the country? Wouldn't his passport be flagged? How did he even get a passport? Since he's fresh from prison, where did he get the money for an international trip to search for Jack and Diane? Why is it okay for a parolee to leave the country to search for someone who testified against him in federal court case? Why isn't anyone in Genoa City asking these questions? Why? Maybe I missed something. No, you missed nothing. You, in fact, got it. In fact, you got what I think I missed. I'm so dumb about this sort of stuff. I just went along with, oh, yeah, okay. But yeah, you're totally right. He would be on parole. There's no way he would be able to... The one thing that I did notice was that Phyllis said he chartered a jet. Somebody said he chartered a jet, and I did think, well, where did he get the money for that? But yeah, the bigger question is, where did he get the passport for that? Nobody asked those questions, though. Well, speaking of passports and vacations, Diana says, I'm on March break this week, which is spring break in the U.S., and it got me thinking it would be fun if Y&R incorporated that onto the show. They could show us some of the characters going on vacation somewhere. We could see Noah and Allie take a vacation at a resort, as we haven't seen them in a while. Or better yet, Tracy and Esther decide to take a short singles trip to go meet some hot men. I also wouldn't mind seeing Chance ask Sharon to go away with him on a little trip from Genoa City. Separate rooms, of course, where the two of them could get to know each other while drinking daiquiris at the poolside by day, followed by dinner and dancing at night. This trip with Chance could also be part of the start of Sharon's journey to finally finding her long-lost father, as I have mentioned in the predictions for 2023. Oh, that would be good. I love the prediction about Sharon finding her long-lost father. It is long overdue. I also love the idea of a vacation. I think we all must have vacation on the brain. It's been a long, cold winter, and we're all just thinking about getting out, breaking out. Jamie says, well, if we can't have a Phyllis and Lauren's girls' weekend in Vegas, complete with a gloriously campy set, then I would relish seeing a chance to see Miss Gloria go on the Vegas trip with Lauren instead. A fan can dream. Oh, yeah, Lauren was like, girl, let's go to Vegas for the weekend. She gave Phyllis the perfect opportunity to just let all this stuff go. But no, Phyllis wasn't having it. Phyllis has an agenda, and once Phyllis has an agenda, there ain't no stopping her. Oh, but Sue W. says, Jamie, let's put Gloria into Diana's trip with Esther and Tracy. What a turn-up trio that would be. Lauren's wild child ways are a thing of the long past, and fun girl Phyllis is just out of her mind at the minute, not in a fun party girl way. But Gloria, Esther, and Tracy, yowza! That would be fun. A singles girls weekend. Gloria, Tracy, and Esther. That would be cool. Yeah, vacation sounds good. Well, we also have a birthday this week. We're not getting a vacation, but we're having a birthday this week. Christy's birthday is on March 24th. Christy, happy birthday this upcoming week. You should stop by and say hi. Tell me what you're doing. You're going to be getting a lot of gifts from Y&R this year, though. This is going to be like a big birthday for you. We have our 50th anniversary starting up next week. There's already some content that has been released. Victoria says if you have Paramount Plus, you can find special anniversary clips. Under shows, click on Young and the Restless, and there are special tabs across the top. There's one for anniversary clips. Just enjoy that. I especially love Beth Maitland's choice of Tracy's clip. She's singing a blues song. Okay, I gotta look at that. I do have Paramount Plus, so I gotta look at that. I also saw something like there was a video of the Y&R stars doing some funny dancing. They're really ratcheting it up. They're trying really hard to get this 50th anniversary. Get Y&R back in the press. Get a lot of people celebrating this. I think they're doing a great job of celebrating it too. Michelle says, in TV news, the March 19th issue of TV Weekly has Eric Braeden and Melody Thomas Scott on the cover celebrating Y&R's 50th. She is looking lovely in a blue sequined gown. And for cricket fans, tune into the Lifetime Movie Network on Sunday, March 26th, where 3 back-to-back movies will air starring Laura Lee Bell. 2 p.m. Eastern, Nightmare Tenant, 4 p.m. Eastern, Mistress Hunter, and 6 p.m. Eastern, Their Killer Affair. This is not a plug. I'm just a gal who likes to plan my viewing by reading the TV guide. Oh my gosh, Michelle. So do you really read the TV guide? Is it the same brand, TV Guide? Do you get the physical magazine? That's fantastic. I used to love TV Guide, but you also said TV Weekly. So, okay, you know what? I need to look that up. TV Weekly. That's great. I love that you flip through your TV magazine to find out what you want to watch. That's like such a lost a lost thing, like the TV magazine. I mean, we all used to do that, right? Flip through and decide what you want to watch, and you got to plan your schedule around it because it's only going to air once, and if you miss it, you miss it. Of course, I've just teleported back 30 years, but I love that. I would love to see that. And 3 separate Lifetime movies. I guess I didn't really even know that Laura Lee Bell did those Lifetime movies. I wonder about what year those are. We'll have to look that up. But thank you for bringing that, Michelle. I think that's impressive. Oh, Ambrini says this is Y&R Super Bowl week. The Talk will have Y&R guests all week. Here's your schedule of who will come and when. And sometimes the Talk will post the entire clip online, but if they don't do that, you can watch on CBS and Global TV online, so you pretty much can't miss it. Okay, so The Talk on Monday has Peter Bergman, Beth Maitland, Eileen Davidson, and Jason Thompson. Monday, The Abbotts. Tuesday, Cameron Grimes, Brighton James, Michael Graziadei, and Crystal Khalil. Tuesday. Wednesday, Melody Thomas Scott and Jess Walton. Okay, that's a good one. Nikki and Jill. They're going to have some stories. Thursday, Sharon Case, Josh Morrow, and Michelle Stafford. And then on Friday, Tracy Bergman and Christian LeBlanc. So The Talk's going to have these clips. I'm sure they're probably going to be manageable bite-size clips. And I'm sure Paramount Plus or CBS.com will probably have them too. So keep an eye out. Every day this week there's going to be clips from The Talk. And Brini also says the Soap Opera Digest magazine has a Y&R special edition that's on sale until mid-June. It's approximately $17 Canadian, $17 Canadian. And Allie, this is a must for you. You must put it on your Y&R shelf. Where am I even going to get that? So can you buy it as a one-off magazine through Soap Opera Digest? I don't know. That's a great question, but you're right. I must own that. And then also we have the Y&R Primetime Special on Tuesday, March 21st at 8 p.m. How am I going to keep track of all of this? It's almost too much. And then Michael Fairman posted a YouTube video with Melissa Ordway and Brighton. There's just so much Y&R content going to be happening. I just have to look I'm going to have to look at the websites every day next week to just make sure I see everything. You know, we've really made a lot out of a 3-day week right here. Still an hour Y&R chat, even though we only had 3 episodes. But there's just so much upcoming stuff, too. And speaking of Canada, Y&R viewer 123 says, it's very unfair that Y&R was preempted here in the U.S., but Canada got new episodes on Friday. Yeah, I don't know any spoilers or anything, but that's a good point. Here in the U.S., we've been on a diet of no Y&R Thursday and Friday, and Canadians got a Friday episode. Y&R viewer 123 says, it looks like they're starting the 50th celebrations early, and we might see the new intro air soon. Of all of the everythings surrounding the 50th anniversary, the new intro is the single moment. Seeing this new intro is the single greatest moment that I am going to be looking forward to. That is top on my list. The new intro is #1. That's what I want more than anything. That's what I'm more excited about than anything. And if that new intro airs next week, rest assured, I will have watched it 100 times by next Sunday. Okay, so buckle up, you guys. Buckle up. I already feel behind. There's clips I need to watch that I haven't seen. And then I'm going to have to see all of The Talk. And then the primetime special. It's a lot. Again, I'm feeling a little almost overwhelmed with Y&R content right now because I'm gonna feel obligated to watch it all. I'm gonna do my best to see it all, and I hope that you all do too. Come back next Sunday. I will do my best to bring it all together, and we'll chat about the celebration, hopefully chat about the new intro. Go to yrchat.com to talk about everything as it's happening too. So next week is going to be big. Go there every day to say what you have to say, and I'll be back next Sunday. I love you guys. Happy anniversary week. I'll see you next Sunday. Bye.